Straight ahead on OC News, 7 children are saved in a terrifying van fire.
The holiday season is right around the corner. We have caroling and students giving back.
That's always nice. And as the year comes to a close, we remember all the celebrities who passed in 2013.
All this and more, OC News starts right now. Hello, and welcome to OC News. I'm Alan Pavlik.
And I'm Seema Saraf. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students of Cal State Fullerton.
December 14th marks the 1-year anniversary of the tragic shooting killing 20 children, 6 adults at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. At a conference on Monday, parents explained how they will remember their loved ones.
In the midst of our grief, we have come to realize that we want our loved ones to be remembered for the lives they lived and how they touched our hearts. We have been uplifted by the support of so many people, and we would like to keep that spirit of unity and love alive in all we do to remember those we so dearly miss. It is with this in mind that we have created the mysandyhookfamily.org website. This website is intended to serve as a singular place of sharing, communication, and contact with the families of those who lost their lives that day.
For most, being a newlywed is a blissful time, but this story seems to be taken straight out of a soap opera. CNN's Stephanie Elam has the story.
What started as a wedding is now ending in a courtroom trial.
Did you kill Cody? Did you mean to push your husband off a cliff, Jordan?
This morning, Jordan Lynn Graham, accused of killing her new husband, will go on trial for murder. Federal prosecutors say that 22-year-old Graham deliberately shoved her 25-year-old husband, Cody Johnson, to his death off a cliff in Montana's Glacier National Park on July 7th, just 8 days after their wedding. Friends of Cody Johnson say they noticed problems from the start.
When they were exchanging vows, Jordan was looking down and wasn't looking at Cody.
Graham's attorneys are claiming it was an accident, saying the couple started arguing and that when she tried to remove her husband's hand from her arm, he lost his balance. Investigators say she initially did not report the incident and was lying when she later told them that Johnson had driven away with friends. She later admitted she was having second thoughts about the marriage, but she has pleaded not guilty to murder and to making a false statement. But other explosive charges in this case have drawn national attention. Prosecutors are saying they have evidence Jordan may have blindfolded her husband before pushing him, while Graham's attorneys are claiming prosecutorial misconduct, using confusing interrogation techniques and claiming inappropriate touching during Graham's polygraph testing. The FBI agent denies the claim. Whatever the outcome of the trial, Cody's friends have already made up their mind.
He didn't deserve whatever end she gave him.
If convicted, Graham faces life in prison. Stephanie Elam, CNN, Los Angeles.
A mother is calling her child's babysitter a hero today after her quick thinking saved some precious lives.
The items in this junkyard may be meaningless to some, but what's left of this 15-passenger van is hard for mother of 2 Ellie Pieper to fathom.
That was my kids inside there, and all that is left is a steel shell. There is nothing left of it.
Friday afternoon, her children, Carly and Jack, were riding in this van driven by babysitter Tara Deckers.
We heard a pop, but it had like a backfire sound, I guess you'd call it, and then very quickly, the van filled up with smoke.
Deckers pulled the van over and unloaded her precious cargo. 7 kids, ages 1 to 6.
Well, I would not have my children here with me if she wouldn't have acted fast. I consider Tara a hero. I'm very thankful for what she has done.
All 7 children were pulled out safely before the van was engulfed with flames. The daycare provider says she just did what she had to do.
I think that I did what anyone would do in that situation, and I just praise God that He gave me the clarity and the quickness to get them all out before the van went up in flames.
Because of Decker's quick judgment, Pieper will be able to hug her kids tight tonight. In Ireton, Iowa, Stephanie Ross, KTIV News 4.
A young child's dream to become an astronaut may never come to pass as Congress decreases funding to NASA. But to make his dream happen, this boy and his family have a plan.
As we left Jupiter, we wondered and wondered if would we ever get home.
6 years old and fixated on space.
This is Jupiter.
Not just because it's pretty cool, but because Connor Johnson is quite sure space will be his future.
The whole reason I want to be an astronaut for I can discover new worlds.
Connor says since he was 3, he's been inspired by NASA.
To discover asteroids or stuff that I could build stuff out of.
Ignition and liftoff.
NASA has given countless kids like Connor reason to believe they too can land in space.
Congress should be passing legislation.
But it was last week, over Thanksgiving, that he learned Congress is cutting funding to the space program.
Was disappointed to hear that they were decreasing funding.
Connor knew he had to do something.
About maybe $10.41.
Maybe his allowance would help.
And then I decided to give my whole piggy bank to NASA. Oh, this part? Yeah.
He decided to create a petition.
And then they put it out there. We started throwing it around Facebook and emailing friends and family.
That got him about 40 signatures. We shared it here at 9 News, and it shot up over 100 fast.
We need 150 for it to go public, and so then it can be viewed on the general website.
And to get a response from the White House, I need 100,000.
Which means Connor needs roughly 99,000 more.
Well, I would be very sad. NASA's mostly the only space station, space company I've known for a very long time.
A young boy inspired to take on a huge challenge to help save the very place that taught him to think big. Just think of all the significant moments that started with someone's little dream.
NASA, if you're watching, thank you.
Seriously, that was adorable. I need to go contribute to his piggy bank. In other news, Disneyland is reporting that park attendance and spending are up. Our own Brett Shore has the story.
The Disneyland Resort saw an increase in park attendance up 4%, a dramatic increase from last year. Spending and attendance have both went up since the $1 billion makeover of Disney's California Adventure Park. Per capita, the average person will spend 6% more on food and merchandise while visiting the resort. The expansion included Pixar's Cars Land with 3 new rides and dining areas.
As for Cars Land, I swear it feels like I'm literally in the movie. They were so accurate, they did everything so correctly, and it's enjoyable when I'm there.
Higher attendance means increased line size. Here's what one park guest thought about the attraction wait times.
They are long, but they're fast. Disneyland is really good for that. They keep their lines in check. They know how long it'll take, and they keep their times exactly where they want it.
Walt Disney's vision for the park is that Disneyland will never be completed, and that mission is being carried out to this day by refurbishing classic rides like Star Tours and bringing new attractions to Cars Land. It's this innovation that brings millions of people into the gates of Disney. With the holiday season upon us, park attendance and spending isn't going to decline anytime soon. So put on your Mickey hats and prepare for the long lines in the park. Reporting from Anaheim, I'm Brett Shore.
When OC News returns, we find out what students are doing to prepare for the New Year's, and later we have a special tribute to the late Nelson Mandela.
That'll be nice.
Titan TV is a student-operated facility maintained by students.
It's on the Cal State Fullerton campus, and it's a great opportunity for Cal State Fullerton students to get hands-on experience directly in a studio environment.
Working with Titan TV puts me in this professional environment. Everyone here is really fun to work with, and everyone just gets along so well. I'm having a great time.
watching Titan TV.
Titan Radio is Cal State Fullerton's own radio station located in the basement of Pollock Library. Students can stop by and pick up an application during operating hours. Anyone who has a computer and internet can listen to us, www.titanradio.org. A lot of people who want to pursue TV and film usually start out in radio, so it's always a great opportunity.
Attending college is an amazing experience, but for some students, the experience can be broadened by choosing to study in different countries. Ashley Limon is in studio to tell us more about how students can grab the opportunity to study abroad.
Studying abroad can be the highlight of a student's college experience. How would you like to travel to Italy or China to study and take in the culture? It's all possible, thanks in part to the Maxwell Center here on the campus of Cal State Fullerton. Joining me in the studio to discuss the center is the director, Dean Cazolea. Hi, Dean. How are you?
Hi, Ashley.
First of all, I want to ask, what's the difference between the Maxwell Center and the Study Abroad office?
Actually, it's very, very simple. The Maxwell Center was basically built to build, promote, and maintain international educational opportunities, research opportunities, and collaborative opportunities for the College of Communications. So the direct answer simply is that the Maxwell Center serves the College of Communication and the greater campus, and the International Studies Office, who I work closely with, they serve the entire campus as well.
Okay, perfect. Which programs do you recommend? I know you have Italy, China, Mexico, now South America, and everybody wants to go to Italy, but which ones do you say go for them, or it's the perfect place to go, or it's affordable, even affordable?
Well, and that's what it is. Really, there's no perfect place. Rather, what we have to focus on is what's perfect for that student. I mean, the first thing is what classes are available. You know, I mean, for example, we have the summer program in Italy, and then we have this new one in Valencia, but there's only several courses that are available. For other students, you know, they may be looking for things like video production, or video editing, or filmmaking. Places like China and Korea are really, really good examples, you know, of programs that would fit them. The second one is that, you know, what can they afford? Again, you know, Europe is very, very expensive.
Exactly.
The truth is that to go to the summer in Florence or Valencia, Spain in the summer is very expensive. But for example, places like China or Korea are less expensive, and as we're working on now with, you know, Guadalajara,
right.
Or, you know, eventually University of Brasilia in Brazil, that's much less expensive. So it's finding the right experience for the right student at the right cost. So there's no perfect program, it's rather which is going to be the best fit for the student.
Okay, there's also language barriers. I mean, I don't speak Italian or I don't speak Chinese. What is English okay, or would I have to go through courses in other languages in order just to go to these universities or take on these programs?
Well, that's a really good question. Here's the truth. In truth, I would encourage students to take a foreign language. I encourage students to take something like, for example, like Spanish or Chinese. But the reality is that many of our students aren't proficient. So what I've done is that, you know, knowing that reality is that I'm building all of these programs where language is not required. So for example, I've negotiated with our partners in China that these courses will be offered in English. And I've negotiated with the school in Korea so that all the courses are offered in English. The same will be done in Guadalajara, and the same has been done with the University of Brasilia in Brazil.
Okay, besides language barriers, the next thing up is money. How easy or how difficult is it for a student to get a scholarship?
Well, there's really two components here. The first component is actually the cost of the program. And often the cost is determined by two factors. The first one is what is tuition. One of the things that I've been focusing on is building exchange programs. Exchange programs are nice because the student pays just like they were at Cal State Fullerton. And that means financial aid applies as well. It's just like that they were going to school here. So that keeps that cost in check. Now some of the other programs, for example, like the Florence program, the Valencia program, those are done through a third-party vendor. So the students often have to pay a portion to that vendor. So they can be more expensive. Now the second part of the cost factor is going to be the cost of living.
Okay.
Now again, if you're going to stay, for example, in Florence in the summertime, it can be a bit expensive, but again, it's expensive there and it's an incredible experience. So don't discount it. If you really want to go to Italy and you can afford to go to Italy, you should do it. On the other hand, places like China Mexico or Korea, it's much lower cost. For example, with these 2 new programs in China, the cost for a semester in dorms that are better than ours or as nice as ours and food that's better than ours is $900 a semester. That's total. So the idea is a student could go they pay their CSUF tuition, they pay $900 for the room and board, and then the cost of an airline ticket. Now your last question about scholarships. The wonderful news is that first, if they go abroad, they qualify for financial aid, and if it costs more, they can get more financial aid. And last but not least, there's the Maxwell Scholarship.
Right.
The Maxwell Scholarship is an international scholarship that's available to COM students. The criteria are they're a COM student, they're in good standing, and they're going to study abroad, and they basically get $1,000.
And it's the experience of being in another country, of taking on the culture, that you just simply can't put money on it.
You can't. You know what? I've been doing this for a long time. Actually, I've been working on study abroad, sending students working abroad since about 1994. Right. And it changes the lives of a student forever. Whether it's for a month or it's for 3 months. The students that come back, they're never, ever the same. And it doesn't matter where they go. I've sent students to Norway. We have programs in Austria, for example, Italy, whether Korea, whether it's China, Mexico, they're never the same when they come back.
I have friends that have studied abroad and they say the same exact thing. Now, on to my last question. How long is the semester that they can travel abroad for? Is it semester, is it summer programs, or is it winter programs? Because I know the study abroad office, which you have told me it's a whole different thing, and you guys...
Oh, I work with them. And I mean, we both have the same goal. And the goal is that what we want to do is we want to provide international educational opportunities for the students at Cal State Fullerton. And the Maxwell Center, we focus mainly on students like you, communication students. And it's about the right fit. Here's the reality. At Cal State University Fullerton, most of our students work, and they have limited financial capabilities. So what we've got to do is we've got to find programs that fit their needs. So for example, there are 1-month summer programs. Okay. There are also programs, for example, like Professor Brody does with this class, his international reporting class, they're going to Guatemala, or last year they went to Cambodia. That's 10 days. And then there's also semester programs. Now, the interesting thing about the ones in Asia is they have a different school year than we do. Okay. For example, in the US, the school year goes for the spring from January until May. Well, in places like China or Korea, the school year actually starts March 1 and ends in June.
It's a great opportunity for any student at Cal State Fullerton who wants to take in the culture, who wants to just see the world. Thank you so much, Dean.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I hope you come back anytime just to inform us more on what we can do and what other opportunities communication students have at Cal State Fullerton. And back to you guys at the studio.
Everyone loves stories of students making a name for themselves and their education. A Cal State Fullerton alumnus and his dad are on a mission to stop doors from closing using a yellow carrot-shaped wedge. After earning his MBA from Mahalo College of Business and Economics in spring, Christopher Adrian has been applying the business and marketing skills he's learned to help his dad launch the Sure Stop Wedge, a self-aligning doorstop. Although still in the early stages of the business, David Adrian said his son has been invaluable in the launch of his business, and as he used his education from CSUF to initially evaluate the viability of the product.
Wow, that sounds like a really interesting product. But moving on to holiday news, 'tis the season, and we can't help but get in the spirit here on campus. Songs of the Season filled Portola Pavilion Friday night for the 25th annual A Carol Candlelight Dinner. 200 attendees filled the pavilion to enjoy dinner and music. From Jingle Bells to Carol of the Bells, the 55-member CSUF concert choir performed holiday favorites.
As 2013 comes to a close, the new year is the start of a new chapter. Earlier this week, I asked around campus to find out what students have planned for 2014. As 2013 comes to a close, it's about that time to start looking back at all the good times and start focusing on all the shenanigans 2014 will bring us. 2013 has been a great year, bringing in the new Pope. Miami Heat, Baltimore Ravens, and the Boston Red Sox all won championships, and sadly Breaking Bad finally came to a close. So as the new year approaches, I want to find out what major accomplishments these Titans have achieved and what's in store for 2014. So can you just tell me a major accomplishment you met this year in 2013?
Okay, absolutely, sure. In the spring semester, I took about 22 units between 3 different colleges, and to kind of just help me accomplish my course load and be on track to graduate early. So that's a major thing I did this year.
got a volunteer experience at a physical therapy clinic towards my future career profession.
I scored an internship at a local museum under working for the education director. This year I decided I was going to double major and I got my driver's license this year.
I would say a major accomplishment was just getting through the semester.
And what do you think a goal for 2014 is for you?
Just moving up in the position to get more money and stuff.
2014, I'll be graduating, so hopefully I will graduate as well as make it into grad school somewhere.
Get in even better shape than I am now.
To see the Heat win the three-peat real quick. Miami.
Just to get as much schoolwork done as possible so I can graduate in 4 years.
Get close to done with school and definitely get another raise.
I'm going to finish all my prerequisites so I can be applying by hopefully next fall.
Get a new job. I was working an internship for the majority of the year, and now I work as a seasonal employee at Costco, and just to get back.
Our Titans have some pretty good plans for the new year. What are your goals for 2014, Seema?
Well, I am going to be graduating, so my goal, find a job. When we come back, we'll have our resident geek with the latest nerdy news, and we put together a tribute to those we have lost this year. Stay tuned.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready.
Let's see what our geeky gal has in store for us, Terry, in this week's edition of Geek News.
We finally have a new Wonder Woman. Last week, it was announced that Gal Gadot will play the Amazon warrior in the Zack Snyder-helmed Batman vs. Superman. Gadot will star alongside Ben Affleck as Batman, with Henry Cavill reprising his role as Superman. Catching Fire, the latest installment in the Hunger Games movie trilogy, is setting some records. The film had a huge opening weekend, beating out the previous record holder, the Twilight Saga Eclipse, much to the delight of some die-hard Hunger Games fans. In the wake of the hugely successful 50th anniversary special, the BBC has released a teaser trailer for the next big Doctor Who event, this month's annual Christmas special.
This planet, what's it called?
Trenzalore.
We don't know much about the story just yet, except that this will be the last outing of Matt Smith's 11th Doctor. Peter Capaldi will take over as the 12th Doctor, but as for details, we'll just have to wait and see. Speaking of things produced by Stephen Moffat, we now have a new Sherlock trailer. We've waited so long, so let's check it out.
Oh my.
Anticipated third season of Sherlock will see Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman reprise their roles as Sherlock and Watson and will premiere on January 19th. The next X-Men movie isn't even out yet, but director Bryan Singer has already announced the title of the one after that. X-Men Apocalypse is set to hit theaters in 2016 and will follow up next year's X-Men Days of Future Past. Finally, one of the internet's favorite nerds, Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield, who gained fame when his video singing David Bowie's Space Oddity aboard the space station went viral, is about to knock something off his bucket list. Commander Hadfield will be making a cameo in the Canadian National Ballet's performance of the Nutcracker this holiday season. The ballet traditionally uses celebrities as the Cannondalls, and this year's everyone's favorite singing astronaut will be taking a crack at it. Good luck, Commander. That's your geek news for this week. I'm Terry Manley, and I'll see you somewhere in time and space.
That sounds like it's going to be a really interesting performance, so I hope that I get a chance to see it. Christmas is fast approaching, speaking of the Nutcracker, which reminds us to be thankful for all that we have this holiday season. I wanted to find out what special ways students are giving back and how you can join in right here on campus. Donating canned foods, toys, clothing, or just their time, students here at Cal State Fullerton are spending the end of the semester not just getting ready for their finals and turning in their projects and papers, but they're actually finding ways to give back to the less fortunate. There's even ways that you can help right here on campus.
I'm actually part of the Honor Society here on campus, National Society for Collegiate Scholars, or of Collegiate Scholars, and we do a lot of volunteer work. We make food for homeless people and go to like shelters and give it to them, and we also like repair old books for children who are in need of them. So.
Thanks to ASI and Camp Titan, a collection of toys ranging from stuffed animals, board games, footballs, and Barbies are being collected in the lobby of the Titan Student Union. These toys will then be donated to an underprivileged child here in Orange County. You can even pick out the child's name and donate a gift specifically to him or her by placing a post-it with the child's name on it. The goal of ASI's Toy Drive is to help brighten the holidays for children in our local area.
The toy drive goes to the children that attend Camp Titan. Camp Titan is ASI's chosen charity that we participate in every year. ASI recruits counselors, they run the whole program, they go up into the mountains, and and it's basically underprivileged children from Orange County. So those same children are invited to a holiday party, and these toys that are donated are wrapped by the Camp Titan volunteers, and then they have a big party and they give them the toys.
ASI asks that no candy, gum, or food be donated, but instead new toys that are free of toxic glues and paints. And if a toy can't be purchased in time, monetary donations are accepted as well. And you're invited to participate in the Titan Toy Drive, which goes through this Thursday, December 12th. You can help make the holidays just a little bit happier for an underprivileged child here in Orange County. I decided to bring in this awesome princess puzzle because a little girl is going to love this. And of course, who does not love good old-fashioned Monopoly? Reporting for OC News, I'm Seema Saraf.
No one inspired the world more to give back than Nelson Mandela. We at OC News would like to pay a special tribute to a man that did so much for the entire world. Morgan Lindsay is here to tell us about this amazing man.
The great Nelson Mandela, anti-apartheid icon and father of modern South Africa, passed away Thursday night at the age of 95 years old. All over the world, those who have been personally touched as well as moved by his work paid respect. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison before emerging to run his country as president and led it out of apartheid. His message to his people, country, and ultimately the world was one rooted in love. He sought reconciliation, not vengeance. In his country, he was able to negotiate a peaceful end to segregation and encourage forgiveness for the same government that imprisoned him years before. At that time that Mandela was running for office, there was a great deal of political violence, and many expected the country to fall apart. Yet, somehow, Mandela's vision brought about peace. During a 2004 celebration for a decade of democracy in South Africa, Mandela spoke to his countrymen saying, "Not only did we avert such racial conflagration, we created amongst ourselves one of the most exemplary and progressive non-racial and non-sexist democratic orders in the contemporary world." In 2010, Mandela beamed at the World Cup in South Africa and said, "I would like to be remembered not as unique or special, but as part of a great team in this country that has struggled for many years, for decades, and even centuries," he said. "The greatest glory of living lies not in ever failing, but in rising every time you fall." The task for this generation and those to follow will be to continue his legacy and to continue to work towards a world of equality. Along with Mandela, we would like to pay tribute to all those who have passed.
As the year comes to an end, we always want to remember the stars and pay tribute to those who we have lost over this year. So starting off with Buffy the Vampire Slayer star Robin Sachs died unexpectedly from an unknown cause at the age of 61 on February 1st, 2013. Then Mark Baleo, star of Storage Wars, died of an attempted suicide on February 11, 2013. Mindy McCready, American country music singer, died of an inflicted gunshot wound. Buck Wild star Shane Gandy died at the age of 21 from carbon monoxide poisoning after a car crash on April 1st. Chris Kelly, half of the group known as Chris Cross, died from a drug overdose. He was 34. James Gandolfini was best known as his role star as The Sopranos. Corey Monteith, best known as Finn Hudson from the hit show Glee, died from a drug overdose. And Gia Alamand was rushed to the hospital after attempted suicide from a hanging. She was 29 years old. Lisa Robin Kelly, star of That 70s Show, died in her sleep on August 14, 2013. And Lee Thompson-Young, star of Rizzoli and Isles, came to fame as Disney star of the famous Jet Jackson, died from drug overdose. Marcia Wallace was best known as her voice on The Simpsons as Bart's fourth-grade teacher, and she died from cancer. And recently, Paul Walker, star as Brian O'Connor of the Fast and Furious film series, died in a fatal car crash. And, as Morgan just said, Nelson Mandela, who did so much for the world, just recently died December 5th. As all of these stars have fallen, they will truly be missed all around the world. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Shay. That's going to do it for us here at OC News. I'm Alan Pavlik.
And I'm Seema Saraf. Thanks for joining us.